Hey guys, welcome back to Cash Out Before You Crash Out. We're going to be playing some 10p, 20p stakes today with the occasional 40p and or 80p straddle. Word on the street is that those who want to do the straddle have something called a job. Can't relate, but apparently it's quite a good thing and gets you money. My income at the moment is poker. Unfortunately, that income has been decimated because I'm either running badly or playing badly. I feel like it might be a combination of the two. Anyway, enough waffling, let's get straight into the action. First hand of any note comes to us in the small blind where we pick up ace queen offsuit. And that opens for £1 and as is the case for most home games, pretty much everyone calls. With so much dead money out there, it doesn't make much sense not to squeeze. So that of course is what we do. Six. Sam gets out the way like the good boy that he is before Nat then jams for his remaining 15 quid. Action folds back round to me and for the price we're getting, this is naturally a snap call. Here we go. Show? Or afterwards. Despite what Nat says, we don't love this run out, and sure enough, we find out that we're beat.
It's a disgrace. That's what it is, a disgrace.
With overcards not working for us, we're hoping we can get a bit more luck with an actual pair.
Under the gun raise?
Under the gun raise. Strong, bro.
I'll take your word for it.
70p is enough to get Sam out of there, but not Nat, or Ben, or Cal, or Marcus, or Ace. Oh my god. Now see this? I don't mind. Flop comes as good as it gets for us. We hit our set, and we're going to make sure that we bet it.
Gonna bet into 5p?
Yes, I am, Ben, because he's going to call, and he's also going to call. 3 ways to a turn now, and it comes the king of spades. Probably as brooky as it can get. Flush draws don't complete, nor do straight draws, and it is now an over to the flop. For this reason, we decide to bet half pot.
650.
Hoping to target draws, and anyone getting sticky with a 1-pair holding. Such as this guy. Cal makes the call, and we go heads up to a river, which comes the ace of clubs. On the one hand, this card should be considered a blank. It doesn't change the strength of our hand, which at this point is the effective nuts, but it might change the strength of our perceived hand. If Cal had any suspicions we were barreling with overcards, then on this run out, we'd have got there. For this reason, I feel like it's going to be even harder to get value out of what I suspect to be a stubborn queen. And because of this, I don't think we can go massive here. So I decide to lead out for 15. It's pretty clear Cal doesn't love it, but after 2 minutes of tanking, he eventually puts in the reluctant call. We show him the bad news and scoop this 55 quid pot. The next couple of hours sees us consistently pick up the square root of nothing, and we are tempted to abandon the vlog.
Sorry guys, had to cut the vlog short today. Didn't get any good hands.
But that would be to disappoint my 161 subscribers, who I know are itching to see some gambling. So we keep the camera rolling for what turns out to be absolute carnage. Nat opens to 80p and gets called in 2 spots, going 3 ways to a flop of king, queen, 6, 2 diamonds. Despite this board favouring the pre-flop aggressor, Ace now donks for 250. Nat and Cal both make the call, so we go 3 ways to a turn that comes the 2 of diamonds, completing the flush. Ace continues for just under half pot, before Nat then puts down the hammer and raises to 15. Over to Cal now, who, after considering his options, matches the bet, which prompts Ace to get out the way and flash us in the process. With a big pot brewing, we get the brickiest of all rivers, which comes the 4 of clubs. But it does not slow down the action.
10.
Nat fires what feels like a block bet of 10 quid before Cal barges right through it and jams for 35.
All in.
It's clear Nat hates it, but after a couple minutes of tanking, he decides he simply can't get away.
Cool.
Cal shows ace-3 of diamonds for the turn nut flush, crushing Nat's flop 2 pair and prompting some self-reflection.
That's not good.
I'd go as far as to say it's bad. That big pot seems to have broken our card deck curse, and soon after, we pick up the prettiest hand in poker. Ace-4 suited. With the straddle on and the game a lot splashier, I decide to increase my open size to 2 quid when the action folds to me.
It's getting pretty expensive to see a flop.
Nat and Ben both make the call, and we go 3 ways in position to a beautiful flop of 3, 5, 7, 2 hearts. With a gut shot to the nuts and the flush draw covered, this hand is simply far too strong to not bet, so when it checks to us, we continue for half pot.
3 quid.
Nat's happy to make the call, but Ben is less satisfied.
11.
He check raises to double digits, and now we have a decision to make. Our hand has so much equity that initially I'm tempted to 3-bet all in for Ben's remaining 40 quid stack. This is a viable option, and I did heavily consider it, but I realised on balance, calling was probably better. For one, we're in position, which means we'll be able to play future streets pretty easily. And secondly, I'm not really sure what an all-in would achieve. If Ben was semi-bluffing with a draw, then we have those draws crushed, and so an all-in would simply get him to fold out worse hands. And if he was betting for protection, such as with top pair or a small overpair, then we also want to keep him in, because we should be able to get these hands off by the river anyway, such as our overpair advantage. So we put in the call, and that gets out the way, which sees us go heads up to a turn that strengthens us even further. We spike the ace of spades, giving us top pairs to go along with our combo draw, and so when Ben checks, it's pretty clear we got this board locked up. And what should you do almost always when you have a good hand in poker? You bet.
We can check as well.
Yeah, I'll be honest, this was just a terrible check, and now it feels even worse. Now, this might be an odd thing to hear from someone who just rivered the nuts, but the reason it's annoying is that we could have bloated this pot sooner had we bet the turn. Ben checks to us one final time, and it feels like he's waving the white flag. With one last chance to get paid, we decide to exploit our bluffy image and settle on a bet of 35 quid in the hope he might get curious enough to call. Now, I'm not sure if this guy was actually thinking, or if he just wanted to show he could chip shuffle. But eventually, he lets it go. A poker vlog would not feel complete without us playing this iconic hand, so when we peel 10 to off in the cutoff, we feel compelled to get involved. In goes our £1 chip that we'll likely never see again, and in goes Sam's, who is playing his first hand in about 3 hours.
I can't believe it, someone said it was dead.
Ben completes in the big blind, and we go 5 ways to a flop that comes 6 queen 3 2 clubs. Action checks through to me, but with no backdoor equity and Sam to act behind, this doesn't feel like the right board to stab, so we check as well. Sam checks too, and so we see a free turn card that comes the 9 of hearts. With zero showdown whatsoever, we're halfway to giving up on this hand entirely, but when it checks to me for a second time, I feel like we have to bet.
250.
Sam gets out the way, as does Ben, but Cal decides to stick around. Marcus makes a quick fold, and so we go heads up to river that comes the bricky 4 of diamonds. Now this is where the hand gets interesting. Cal leads for 5 quid, and our initial thought is to be done with it. But then we get other ideas. If Cal had a good hand, he'd have likely bet flop or turn himself, given the dynamic nature of the board. But given instead he check called, I figure he's most likely to have a weak drawing hand that's bluffing having missed the river. Now, we've got 10 high, and that can't even beat bluffs, so if we are to win this hand, we're going to have to rebluff the bluffer. And it works perfectly. So we show our hand
Fucking Doyle, brother.
and show respect to the go.
They tell me I can melt a man with my stare.
Now, whilst bluffing is fun, poker's a lot easier when you actually have a hand. And so when we pick up pocket jacks one orbit later, we're feeling pretty good. And we're feeling even better when we find that ace has put on the third straddle up to £1.60, because this means there's so much dead money in the pot.
He's nervous.
What was your read? I'm nervous.
Ace is left unconvinced by our £4 open, and Cal and Marcus even less so, who both make the call to send us 3 ways to a flop of 2, 4, 6 rainbow. We couldn't really have asked for a better board, and so when Marcus donks a fiver, we decide to fast play and raise to 12. Cal's immediately out of there, but Marcus isn't done quite yet, so he makes the call, and we go cautiously to a turn that comes the king of hearts. On a card like this, I'm expecting Marcus to slow down, given it should favour my range a lot more than his. And yet he doesn't.
The double donk.
Marcus fires a bizarrely small bet of 6 quid into a pot of almost 40. And honestly, I have no idea what this is meant to mean, but I'm not sure he does either. What I do know is that we're getting a great price, so we make the call and head to the river.
10 of spades.
Yeah, don't bother turning it over, mate, we'll just take your word for it.
What a fucking lazy deal, bro.
River comes as blank as it can get, and it doesn't take Marcus too long to fire out a bet of 15 quid.
It's Barrel City for you, isn't it, mate?
Envy still has quite a few players.
Can I just cop a read real quick?
At this point in the hand, I don't know what to think. To call my raise on the flop and then lead into me again on the turn has completely thrown me off. Not to mention that, because this board is so dry, it's hard to come up with many natural bluffs here.
I can't see how you can possibly be bluffing.
Looking back, we're getting insane odds to call. But for whatever reason at the time, I was just convinced Marcus had a set. And so we make perhaps the nittiest fold of the night and let our jacks go.
Half the barrel.
There's no way.
Okay, so that hand was a mess, like bad. But this one, not so much. We look down at ace king off under the gun and open up to 70p. Sam, Ben, Cal, and Asa all make the call, and so with 5 ways to a flop, there comes ace king 9, 2 diamonds. Always nice to flop top 2, and so when Asa checks, we decide to build this pot right away.
Martin did this yet set. Must be strong.
No.
Lay down king 9. Pretty good lay down.
Wait.
Probably the worst thing you can hear when you have a good hand. But there is one man we can rely on.
This was the one that couldn't fail. This was one that's never failed.
Cal makes the call, and we're heads up to a turn that comes a blank 5 of spades. With such a strong hand, we continue to bet.
6.
Expecting to get calls from stubborn pairs and hopeful flush draws.
Tell me it's not afraid of a barrel.
And we're hoping he's also not afraid of a bluff. When the river comes to blank 8 of hearts, I'm certain we have the best hand. But I'm less certain Cal will call a third and final bet. As played, I feel like his range at this point is at best a weak ace and at worst a missed flush draw. When we bet again, we're going to look really strong, and so we might not even get value out of those weaker aces. And perhaps more importantly, we'll get Cal to fold out his missed flushes. But if we check, we could induce him to take a stab himself. And so that is what we decide to do. We set the trap, and not long after, Cal bites.
Cool.
We catch his hand in the cookie jar and add an extra 25 quid to our stack that we would have otherwise missed out on.
I'll just dirty check.
Next hand of interest comes between Ben and Nat. Now, due to some technical difficulties, I didn't manage to capture the start of this hand, but it was a big one, so let me fill you in. With Marcus and Asa in the blinds, Sam opens it up to 80p. Ben 3-bets to 3 quid and gets called by Nat and Marcus, going 3 ways to a flop that comes Jack 9-10 rainbow. Marcus checks it over to Ben, who, on this connected board, elects not to c-bet, instead checking it over to Nat. Nat takes his cue and places a 5 quid wager. Marcus folds and Ben makes the call, going heads up to a turn that comes a 3 of spades.
Check. Charge the queen.
After sizing up Ben's stack, Nat double barrels, this time for 9 quid. Ben thinks it over for quite some time before eventually making the call, and so we go to a river that comes the 8 of spades. Ben checks once again, at which point Nat fires his third and final bullet, this time for 20.
One bar.
Ben turns over his cards to reveal red aces, whose value has pretty much dried up on this board.
What a fucking run out.
Well,
Jesus.
it's triple barreled, like.
After a couple minutes thinking it over, Ben lets it go, only to be shown a disgusting bluff by Nat. He tables King 2 of diamonds for a 3-street punt and takes down this 60 quid pot.
Oh my god, you psychopath.
That's a barrel.
I would have fucking snap folded there.
It's got every...
I'm a losing player, by the way.
If hands like King 2 can bully aces, then I figure, why can't King 9? With the straddle on to 80p, we open up to 250 and get inevitably called by Cal and Marcus.
I've got 2 cool eddies ahead of me. I just like... I have to basically hit, otherwise I'm in trouble.
And hit, we do not. Flop comes 6-3-2, 2 diamonds, and so we have to make do with a backdoor flush draw and 2 overs.
Kids, just beware. If we check it to him, he's going to put in some bullshit bet again.
Whilst tempting, we decide not to take Cal's cue,
Check's good. Check's so good.
figuring instead that King High should be good here a fair bit of the time. Turn brings the 10 of diamonds, and our flush draw is still live. Whilst for Cal and Marcus, it prompts them to check their cards.
See, if you had diamonds, you wouldn't have to check, would you? Think about it.
Check.
Marcus checks 2, and now I decide to bet out for 450, which honestly I feel like is a big mistake. As played, King High's going to be good here a fair bit of the time, and so all betting's going to do is get called by hands that beat me and fold out hands that don't. Marcus makes the call, and so we go heads up to a river that comes the 10 of spades, pairing the board.
Interesting.
It's going to be like a 6 over a 3.
God, I wish I was that strong. We arrive at the river with no more than complete air,
Or rep a 10.
and soon after Marcus does just that, leading out for 12 quid. It's at this point here that my camera stopped recording, and honestly, that's probably a good thing, because I'd hate to have watched it back. This should have been a snap fold, but due to a combination of tilt from previous hands and an unwavering belief in the power of blockers, we decide to rip it for 40 quid, repping the flush. And Marcus snap calls with Jack 10. Oh my god! And one bad 40 quid bet is soon followed by another.
Turn that shit off.
Because this young European pro has also got cooked. Again, by this guy.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Yet again, my camera wasn't recording, so unfortunately you lot are going to have to make do with a reenactment at the start of this hand. By which I mean a play-by-play review from Asa on Snapchat. Cal limps in for 20p, before Marcus then raises to 150. Asa 3-bets to 5, and it folds round to Cal, who of course has to make the call, as does Marcus. Flop comes 2-2-6 with 2 clubs. Cal checks, and despite Asa having the overpair advantage, Marcus donks the half pot. Asa calls, Cal folds, and they go heads up to a turn that comes the 4 of clubs, completing the flush. Despite the board changing card, Marcus does not slow down, and this time he fires another half pot bet of 12 quid. Asa makes the call once more, and off we go to a river that comes the 3 of spades. As played, this river is pretty much a brick, and yet it is also the card that sees Marcus slow down and check.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
This prompts an even stranger decision from Asa, who, having check called the whole way, now bets almost pot for 40 quid. Marcus makes the call, and Asa shows pocket kings for what is a really thin value bet. Too thin, in fact.
Oh my god. Wow.
Always value betting.
That unorthodox river check has completely blindsided Acer, as he ends up getting value owned and gifting Marcus an additional 40 quid.
Wow.
In this next hand, I find out why GTO cannot and should not be applied to home games, especially against a tilted opponent. Marcus opens it up to £1 before Acer, fresh off his Pocket Kings disaster class, 3 bets to 350. Next to act, we look down at 7-8 of clubs, but before we can make a decision...
Oh, you've got an Instagram audio from Goon Squad. What do you mean by that?
Clearly, the new UK legislation has hit this man hard.
I know what kind of man you are.
Facing a 3-betting position with a hand like this, the standard play would be to call. But we've looked at one too many poker charts, and so instead, we decide to go for the mythical low-frequency 4-bet to 12 quid. Now, ideally, we're looking to take this down pre, but when the action folds around to Acer, he makes the call, and so we go heads up to a flop that comes 10-2 jack, 2 spades. This really isn't the best flop for us to see. When Acer 3-bets pre and then calls our 4-bet, he's going to have a lot of hands that connect well with this board. Sets, 2 pairs, flush draws, and straight draws are all well within his range as played so far. Issue is, we've got 8 high right now, and bar a miracle 9 on later streets, we're pretty much holding dust. So when Acer checks to us, we c-bet for just under half pot, hoping to fold out ace high, king high, and smaller pocket pairs. Facing the check raise, we of course have to let it go, which is really annoying because I would have just called if I hadn't looked at that damn chart.
Trying to get pretty with the suited connectors, no good.
No, right the move.
This one hurt to see.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, play it out. Fucking hell, we both...
Oh!
Yeah, so it was a great fold from me.
This is what coping sounds like. Our low frequency 4-bet in position was met by an even lower frequency call out of position. And what a battle it was.
People try and make comparisons of who's better, etc. Just enjoy it, man.
Final hand of the night takes place at some godforsaken time in the early hours of Sunday. Half the table's left at this point, but myself, Nat, and Ben are still stuck a bunch of money, especially Nat. And so, of course, the only way to get even is to risk getting even worse.
I'm getting completely and utterly wrecked.
First to act, we pick up ace-4 offsuit, which, on a 4-handed table, is definitely worth a raise. We open to 150, and Ben folds before Nat then 3-bets to 5 quid. In position against an equally tilted opponent, and with ranges so wide, our hand feels just about strong enough to call. Heads up to a turn that comes ace-6-9, 2 hearts. Having flop top pair, we can't ask for much more with the hand we have, so when Nat c-bets for 3 quid, we of course make the call. Turn comes the 10 of hearts, bringing in the flush, and so when Nat bets for a second time, I'm already not loving it. Double barrels themselves are already underbluffed, and for him to continue firing on a board as wet as this, when I myself could have a flush, makes me think he is quite likely to be strong. That said, we've seen what the man can do with King 2, so we're not going to give him credit quite yet. We call the 650 and go heads up to a river that comes the ace of spades. Initially, I love this card. I mean, come on bro, we got trips. But when Nat fires a third barrel of 25 quid, I'm starting to love it a lot less.
I want to call so bad. I honestly think I'm not good, but...
The hardest fold to make in poker is the one where you've just improved. And that's exactly what's happened here. We've just spiked the ace and we've now upgraded to trips. But when we actually think about it, we haven't really improved. If Nat had an ace himself, then he's now also got trips, and almost certainly with a better kicker. Not to mention that on this board, trips really isn't that strong. 7-8 made a straight on the turn, although given the 3-bet pre, he's less likely to have that. But we're also beaten by a flush, and possibly even boats too. All that to say, as it turns out, we've actually got nothing more than a bluff catcher. And so the question now becomes, do we think he's bluffing?
What could he possibly have that doesn't get there?
Even though I've just explained how this is almost certainly a fold, it's a lot harder when you're tilted, and being stuck 80 quid doesn't help.
Oh, I really don't know.
After tanking for an egregiously long time, the clock eventually gets called on us, and so we have to make a decision.
3, 2, 1. I think it was probably a good fold.
We let it go, and are relieved to see that Nat had ace-10 off for the stone cold nuts.
Great fold.
So, at the end of episode 1, how did the boys do? It was a good night for these 4, particularly Marcus and Acer, who each took home 3-figure hauls. As for these 3, one to forget. We got cooked. If you enjoyed this video and want more of the same, then don't forget to like and subscribe. We will be back.